I have always been an avid reader and a writer, but something changed in my last year of college because I was so deep into assignments and test preparations, I did not get any time to indulge in these creative hobbies. So the only thing I could do was scroll through Instagram because first of all, I did not have to use my brain, I was just scrolling. Secondly, it brought me happiness, and thirdly, it was relieving to me because finally it was a place I did not have to put any brain into. So that is what happened. And my goal after college was to completely leave Instagram, like not use it at all, completely leave social media. But it has been 2 weeks since college ended, and 1 week ago, I found myself awake at 6 a.m. scrolling through Instagram. I was not doing anything, there was nothing of value there, I was just scrolling. And then it occurred to me that why am I even doing it? Because that was my goal, I just wanted to get rid of it. And that's when I realized this is what doom scrolling is. Hello, I'm Simran. I'm a published poet and a psychology graduate. So this video is going to be about doom scrolling and what I am doing to keep myself from doing that because it's really harmful. So we are going to be discussing what exactly doom scrolling is, why it is harmful, as well as what are the activities I will be engaging in to keep myself away from social media or any form of short form content that can rot my brain. So first of all, I think it is very important for us to understand what doom scrolling actually is. So I went on to Wikipedia and found out the definition that they used, and I have a lot to say about it. According to Wikipedia, doom scrolling is the act of spending an excessive amount of time watching short form content or watching large quantities of user generated content or news, particularly negative news, on the web and social media. So if you look at this definition, it basically means you are watching content about doom, like there's so much negativity in the world, so that is what you're indulging in. But I think the definition needs to change a little bit. Now it's not limited to negative content. It is rather you are watching content that is going to lead you towards emotional and cognitive doom. Because doom scrolling has been found in various researches to lead to anxiety, stress, insomnia, headaches, exhaustion, difficulty concentrating, and depression. I would like to get into a little bit of neuroscience here. So dopamine is your neurotransmitter that is responsible for reward and motivation processes. Now what happens when you're doom scrolling is dopamine is released whenever you watch something that is surprising to you or something that is very unusual. And of course then when it's released, it makes you happy, it makes you feel rewarded. But the thing about this reward, the schedule for it is variable. It's not like I watched one reel, it made me feel happy, then if I watch one more reel, it would make me feel happy. It's not like that. Maybe the next rush of happiness would come after 3 more reels, maybe the one after that would come after 10 more reels. So it is very variable in nature, but you are anticipating that rush, and that is why it builds tolerance as well. That is why you just keep scrolling in hopes that the next reel would make you feel happier than this one did, and of course it does. But it has its own long-term consequences. Here I would like to talk about 2 neural networks. The first is your default mode network, which is basically your default mode. When you are not doing anything, this is the network that is most active. So let's say you are resting, or you are engaged in a self-referential thought, or you are daydreaming, then this is the network that is active. And then we have the task positive network, which, as the name suggests, gets activated whenever you are indulged in any problem solving task or any goal directed task. So what usually happens is, let's say you are resting, but someone calls you and asks you to help them. So what happens is your DMN deactivates and the TPN is activated. But after doom scrolling for a long time, what happens is the switching between these networks fails, and no matter what you do, the DMN is the one that will be activated at all times. And why is it problematic? Because DMN, as I said, it is involved in a lot of self-referential thought. It leads to rumination, it leads to emotional stress, and of course it hampers your daily functioning. And now this failed switching is also seen in ADHD. Another thing I came across is popcorn brain, which is also a result of prolonged doom scrolling. And what happens here is your brain is basically too overstimulated to focus on any slow-paced and real-world task. And this is something that I myself have been experiencing whenever I do try to sit down and read a book. And it hurts because I used to read like 300 pages a day, and going from that to nothing at all, it's really bad. So the first thing that I'm doing to stay away from doom scrolling is reading. The reason I'm including reading is not just because I'm an avid reader. I would recommend it to everyone, even people who do not really read. I would like you to just give it a try and get into this hobby, because first of all, there's nothing such as passive reading. You cannot engage in passive reading at all because it does not exist. And this is something I came across in this book called How to Read a Book. Here the author says that the writer is putting efforts into conveying the message, and the reader is putting efforts into understanding the message. So it's not passive. The only thing that is passive here is the words and the book itself. I would implore everyone to give reading a chance. It can be a really great hobby because you gain a lot of knowledge, your vocabulary increases, your attention span increases. Additionally, it fosters critical thinking and creativity. Whenever you read a book, you do have thoughts of your own, and you can always expand on those thoughts. You can write an essay about it, you can make a video about it, whatever you want to do. So yeah, it is a really good way to foster your creativity as well. And these are some of the books that I'm reading and are on my TBR list for this month and the next. So I'm currently reading How to Read a Book, and the rest I will read after I'm done with that. Additionally, since I'm into research, I'm also reading one research paper a day without summarizing it, without asking any AI for help, without asking anyone for help, because that is a habit I want to build. I do not want to rely on other people to explain the results to me. I do want to be able to expand my knowledge on my own. The second thing that I'm doing is writing, of course, because as I said, college has been very hectic and I did not get time to work on my writing at all. I have one book published and I started working on the second one before I entered my third year of college, and from then I've not been able to write anything. Well, maybe I have, it's been very on and off, but I do want to make a proper routine. Although I'm not a routine person, I do think routines kind of help you get into something, and then you can be as spontaneous as you want about it. So writing has always been the solution to me, and I really hope it is for this as well. So the benefits of writing are, like reading, it also fosters critical thinking and creativity, but at the same time, as you write, you become better able to express your thoughts and even understand your own self. So that is a plus point here. And I'm working on my poetry book, plus also getting into journaling. People always think it's so weird that I have never journaled in my entire life. I think being a writer, that's something that is a given, but journaling is something I've always struggled with a lot. And my friend suggested this to me a month ago to start journaling, but yeah, I was still deep in my exams then, so I could not really do it. I still did it for a day or two and it was very cathartic. I really loved it. But as I said, I struggle with journaling every single day, so I'm not forcing myself to only journal whenever I feel like I have enough stuff to talk about. A lot of times you might feel like you don't have anything to say, but the moment your pen touches the paper, you realize you were wrong. There is actually so much to say that you felt like there's nothing. So an exercise to get you into writing, first of all, you cannot use your notes app for this. You actually have to have a physical pen and paper. What you do is, you set a timer for 5 minutes. Touch the pen to the paper and you do not take it off for the entirety of the 5 minutes. You must write anything that comes to your mind. Do not even think. You are not required to think here. You are only required to move the pen and make words out of it. It is only after this that you realize there's so much to say, there's so much to think about. And honestly, in the start it could be really difficult, but as time goes on, you just become more adept at it. And you can also increase the timing from 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, whatever suits you. As I said, don't worry about it making sense or not making sense. That is not the focus here. The focus is to get you into writing. And then, the next thing. I am someone who wants to be disgustingly educated. As I'm very much into neuroscience, I am currently doing this free course called Enigma U by the University of Utah, and I'm so grateful for it. It is a very comprehensive course and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to pursue neuroscience in the future. And other resources, I will just put a picture of them and I will also link them down in the description so you can check them out. And then this is something very new. This is something I discovered on Instagram. but I'm very grateful for it, and this is why I say that social media is not always a bad thing. Consumption is not always a bad thing. You should just be careful of what you are consuming. So I came across this account called Baby Steps to Mike on Instagram, and the person has created her own website for articulation practice. You go to the website, you click on spin to generate a topic, you get 1 minute to prepare what you're going to say, and then for 1 minute straight you must talk about the topic, and that is all. And this is something I have been doing with my friend to keep myself accountable, and it has been working out. I do think I have better clarity of thoughts now, and the reason I chose a website to tell me what I should be speaking about is because I believe humans are biased and we all want to be perfect. So what is a better way to be perfect than to only choose topics that you already know you're comfortable speaking about? But life is not always like that. You won't always be put into comfortable positions. So you must know how to speak, and I think this is a very good way to foster your thinking and foster your creativity as well, because a lot of times you don't know what all you have to say about a topic until you are given a topic to speak about. So you can use this website, all thanks to the creator for this, or you can also go to Google and Pinterest and search out for prompts that you can speak about. So all of these activities, they require some sort of cognitive effort, and they do not give you instant gratification. They build your attention span as well as they help you understand yourself better. However, it might also be that all of these activities could stimulate you a lot. So if you don't want to start with them, I would say do nothing at all. Just leave your phone, leave your books, leave everything. Just sit in silence with yourself. Or you can also go out, take a walk and observe your surroundings. There is literally so much in this world. It will give you ideas, and if not ideas, it will certainly make you feel more relieved. The only thing you need to focus on here is that you refrain from reaching out for your phone every time you feel bored. Just leave that, sit with yourself. You have so much thoughts. Try to think over them. Try to talk to yourself, and it really helps, especially when you don't want to engage in anything else. Okay, so coming on to the very last thing. It is very small, but at the same time I would say it makes a lot of difference. What I have noticed is whenever I'm watching a YouTube video, and mostly I watch YouTube videos about philosophy, poetry, literature and productivity. So what I have noticed about myself is that instead of actually watching the video or listening attentively, I am always busy scrolling the comment section. The video becomes a very passive thing in the background. I don't even remember what the video says. I only remember the comments. If you are doing any of it as well, I would really encourage you to stop doing it and just pay attention to what the video is about. You can do it after the video ends. So these are the things that I'm doing to drive away my need to scroll through social media all day long. And I really hope these were of help to you. And if you have anything that you do or any other activity that I can try, I would love it if you could just put them in the comment section. I'd love to try it out. And of course the links for every single resource that I talked about will be in the description. So check them out if you want to. That was it for this video. See you in the next one.